awesome croquembouche with lights. I have placed mine on an enormous chocolate cake where I have made a little Christmas village that I will be serving at my family's Christmas lunch. I'm so excited, it is almost Christmas, so let's get started. What you're gonna need, 2 dots. For the choux pastry, you'll need 250 ml of water, 75 grams of butter, 160 grams of plain flour, and 4 eggs. For our cream, you'll need 6 egg yolks, 45 grams of cornstarch, 1 vanilla pod, 140 grams of sugar, 400 ml of milk, and 100 ml of whipping cream. And for our caramel, you'll need 150 ml of water, 450 grams of sugar, and 21 grams or a tablespoon of liquid glucose. Preheat your oven to 120 degrees Celsius, and then in a saucepan, you're going to, on medium heat, pour in your water and your butter, and we're gonna let that melt. Once your butter has completely melted, you're gonna pour in your flour all at once, and you're gonna stir vigorously until it becomes a nice ball and it comes off the sides of the pan. Now we have removed it from the heat, and we're gonna add 1 egg at a time. And you wanna mix. And once that's incorporated, you're gonna add your other egg, 1 at a time. Now that we've mixed in all of our eggs, we're gonna place our dough into a piping bag, which I like to put on a little container to help me out. And we're just gonna spoon that in. Now we're gonna pipe little dollops on our baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and you can make them as big or as small as you want them. I don't want them to be too big, so I'm gonna make them about this size. Oh, don't forget these will rise and puff in the oven, so leave a little bit of space between them. And try and make them as even as you possibly can. Now you're gonna take a little bit of water, and if you have a little spray that works, I don't, so I'm just gonna use my hands. And you're just going to sprinkle very little water on top of the pastry, and this helps it become a bit more crisp while baking. These will have to bake in your oven for 20 minutes or until nice and crisp and puffy. So I've just taken my little choux buns out of the oven, and they look great. And what I like to do is when they're just out of the oven, I like to make the little hole. And you can use this little tip. And then I'm gonna place them back into the oven for about 2 minutes. Just to let the steam out and to make sure they cook inside properly. Now that our little choux buns are cooling, we're gonna make our cream. So you can take a vanilla pod and just cut down the middle using a knife. In a large pan, we're gonna put our milk and our cream, and then we're gonna take our vanilla pod and we're gonna scrape out the seeds. So just using a knife where you've cut, you're going to scrape down, remove the seeds just like that, and put them in there. And now we're going to put our vanilla pods in there also, and put the fire on medium heat and let them almost come to a boil. It doesn't have to boil, it has to get there. Once your mixture has almost reached boiling point, you're gonna turn the heat off and we're gonna let the vanilla infuse into the milk and cream for at least 5 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to pour our egg yolks into a mixer or a bowl using a handheld mixer, and our sugar. And we're gonna whisk this until it becomes nice and light and fluffy. Once your eggs and sugar look like this, we're gonna pour in our cornstarch, which I have previously sieved. Make sure you sieve it. And we're gonna pour that in. And we're gonna mix on medium speed until that all comes together. I have now taken my vanilla pods out of the cream and milk. And now we're gonna pour in our egg mixture. And you're now gonna turn your fire on low heat and you're gonna stir with a whisk. And you're gonna keep stirring until the cream will start to thicken. And you're gonna keep stirring, keep stirring, keep stirring all the time. So as soon as you take your cream off the heat, you want to place it into a tin, which is short and wide. Now you're gonna take some cling film and you wanna cover it, but you wanna cover it so that it touches, so that the cling wrap touches the cream. And this avoids getting that super annoying crust on top. And this will need to cool first at room temperature and then in the fridge. So everything has been setting nicely in the fridge, and I actually left mine overnight. So I just put them in a little Ziploc bag and in the fridge. That's perfect. So now we're ready to fill our choux buns, and I'm using this little filling tip, which I also used to make the holes before. And all we're gonna do is we're gonna take one, put the tip inside, squeeze, and as you squeeze, you want to come out. That's it. We're gonna do this to all of them. Yum. So here are our choux buns with crème pâtissière, and you can see how they are nice and filled, and you can also feel it from the weight of the choux bun. And now we're ready to make our caramel. Before we make the caramel, I want to let you in on a little, well, a big secret that I have been keeping from you. I'm making the croquembouche for this mammoth cake. There is a cake underneath that I have already covered in fondant. And I have, basically, this is so exciting. I'm having my Christmas lunch and I'm preparing a surprise cake. And what I'm gonna do is I have threaded lights through my cake. So here's my little battery. And the part that is in the cake I have wrapped in cling film, as you can see over here. And I've put the tin foil because when we're gonna go and build our croquembouche with the caramel, I don't want any caramel drops to ruin my fondant on the cake. And we're gonna put lights in our croquembouche. That is the plan. We'll see if it works. Let's go make the caramel. In a saucepan, you're gonna put your sugar and add your water and your glucose. This is sticky. And you're gonna stir that in until the sugar dissolves. Once the sugar dissolves, do not stir. So my sugar is now dissolved, and you can check that by putting it on your spoon and you don't see any crystals anymore. And now you're going to stop stirring. That is very, very important. So you're gonna stop stirring, and this will need to boil for about 5 minutes. That depends on your pan, everyone is different. Using a little pastry brush with a bit of water, you're going to want to brush the sides of the pan, just like that. Once your caramel looks like this, so it's not brown, but it's like a goldenish color, we're gonna take it off the heat, and I have put gloves. I've actually put 2 layers of gloves because this is hot. Hot, hot, hot. So I've taken my caramel off the heat, and I have a bowl of cold water just in case I burn my fingers. I can pop those in there. Important. I'm so scared of this. Okay, so we're gonna take our first cream puff. I had like a brain fart right there. Just no, I'm so nervous. I'm like dipping myself in lava. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna take my first cream puff and I'm gonna dip just the bottom of it. So I want this side facing out. So I'm gonna put it down in there. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm gonna let the excess drip, and then I'm gonna put it on my board. Just like that. And pray to God it stands. Yes, it does. And now I'm gonna take another one. I want a nice and round one for my base layer. And now I'm gonna dip at the bottom and the side. So I'm gonna place it in there and give it a little spin. All right. I'm gonna place it over here and stick it next to my friend, the other bun. And if you weren't making a cake as complex as I am, you can make a cardboard mold, or also they sell Croquembouche molds. So you can buy those and it's a lot easier, I hear. I like to complicate my life, so I'm going no mold. I'm going free. So yeah, we're gonna do this all the way around. It's really, really sticky, so they glue quite fast, which is good. They're not going anywhere. I mean, these are there to stay. Oh, one more thing. If you do make a croquembouche, make it on the day. Hence why I made my cream puffs yesterday, because the tower will last about 6 to 7 hours and then it tends to start collapsing. So, word of advice. So now to do my second layer, I'm gonna place them in between the first layer of cream puffs. So just like that. And we're gonna keep going until we get a nice little cone Christmas tree. And the lights, I can place them later. As you can see, little holes remain, so I'm just gonna poke that light through there later. So I'm still building my tower and it's coming along great. My little buns, and I've placed my lights in here. And I'm going to place my final lights because I'm almost done. Yay! So I have to make another batch of caramel because mine, as I heated it up again, it completely crystallized. And I'm almost done, so that's a shame. But we need to do our spun sugar as well, so we need to make more. So I finished my croquembouche. And I want to make some spun sugar. So I've just placed a little bit of sugar. This is like 150 grams of sugar in a pan. And I'm just going to heat it. So I'm going to make dry caramel because it turns browner. And I want my angel, like the hair, to come a little more golden. While the caramel is cooking, you can start to prepare 2 wooden spoons on the edge of your counter. And I have lined my floor with some wax paper just to catch any caramel that falls. So now we have our caramel and I've transferred it to this little saucepan. Also to stop it cooking, and it's a bit deeper so it's easier to pick up. What we're gonna do now, take your little caramel and you're just gonna go like this. And you see little hair, little strands are gonna hang off your spoon. So now we're just gonna pick it up really gently and place it on top. Oh my God, it's beautiful! You can see better on this side. Oh, I'm so excited. Now I'm gonna go make more. Ta-da! here's our little croquembouche, and oh, I'm so excited. Well, now it's time for us to decorate our cake underneath. See you later. So here's my Christmas village with our centerpiece Christmas tree croquembouche with lights. And I am so happy that my antlers are ringing. And we have our centerpiece, the croquembouche Christmas tree with lights and the little houses I made and little trees and animals and just a little Christmas village. And I used my chocolate cake and ganache. I'm going to put a link to that in the description down below. And oh, I love Christmas! So I hope you enjoyed my video, and if you did, give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought, and if you make this, how it turns out. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more, and Merry Christmas!